Along the lines of the Matt Reeves universe, we recently had the Penguin series trailer drop, and it was awesome. I reacted to it. It was really cool to kind of watch this trailer for the first time and see the feel they're going for it, which is just this really Godfather-esque gangster hierarchy taking on the world, with the Penguin being the headrunner, with Colin Farrell playing this amazing character to perfection, where you don't even feel like I don't know where Colin Farrell is in all of that, but he's there, they tell us, apparently. And I'm so excited for this series, especially considering that we're not getting the Batman Part 2 until 2026. This is what we've got to work on, right? The Penguin series. Now, a lot of speculation and discussion about what that series might entail and who might be involved. And one of the characters that people are talking about being in part of that is Robert Pattinson's Batman. Now, Robert Pattinson was seen on set as Bruce Wayne, so he'll be featuring in some capacity. But my question, and what I've been thinking about since that trailer came out, is how should they be using Batman in the Penguin series? And I've been really thinking about it, because one way that I think they shouldn't is that I don't think Batman should feature as a prominent, constant episode regular. Like, I think if he's appearing in more than like 2 or 3 episodes, that's like exceeding the limit of how much he should be in there, because then it starts becoming a not so much of a Penguin series, but this is just actually a Batman series featuring the Penguin. And I think that the Penguin deserves his own story told, and I believe that's probably what they're going to do. So the question comes up as to how should they use Batman in the series? He could pop up as, a little cameo role as Bruce Wayne, and seeing the repercussions of his character arc and realizing that he can't just be this fear aspect character, that he's got to kind of come out of the shadows of the Bruce Wayne rockstar life and be a bit more on the forefront in running his business and being involved in the community and so on. But as far as featuring as Batman goes, I've just been thinking about it. And one of the things that I think they have a real opportunity to do here is to elevate the character of Batman in a real powerful way. So one thing that I loved about the Batman, the first one that came out, was those first 10 minutes encapsulated for me what I think Batman should be. There's this fear that exists, that his mere presence, the idea that he's in every shadow, that he's there, that the criminals are afraid of him, was so well done. They later on kind of indicate, and the idea is that he can't be that way all the time, because there's those that he needs to be present, that he needs to show compassion and love to, that don't fear him, that shouldn't fear him, the good people of Gotham. What they can do, I think, in the Penguin series is portray him in a way where the way he's viewed by the villains is in a very fearful, unsuspecting, awestruck way. And one of the comic books that came to my mind that reminded me of this was a comic book called Joker. It was written by Brian Azzarello and illustrated by Lee Bermejo. And this is probably one of the most intense comics I think I've ever read, because they don't shy away from some really intense things. Essentially, what the story follows is, and you're welcome to read this comic book. If you haven't read the comic book, I'm about to talk about it in detail. But it doesn't, I personally would read the comic again and again and again, because it's that good. But if you haven't read it, give it a read. And if you don't want to hear about it, then you can end the video and come back another time. But what happens in this comic book is that the Joker's released from Arkham Asylum. And while he's been gone, there's been a real power struggle for who's going to be running Gotham. And as he comes back, he just wrecks shop. He takes back the reins. People are afraid of him. He terrorizes everyone. And you get to see through the eyes of Joker is viewed from your everyday person's perspective. And he is an anomaly. He is beyond. He is unpredictable and crazy and terrifying. And it's great to see him done that way. And then Batman doesn't feature in this comic book until probably the last 2-3 pages. What happens is, in the last few pages, Batman arrives. And the Joker, he is, he's just like holding someone hostage and he's threatening people. And in those last few pages, Batman just wrecks him. He's got no doubt that he's going to be able to defeat the Joker and that he understands the Joker. And in that moment, he's just got him in his palm. Now, I don't think Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson's Batman is at that level yet. But if they were to have the Penguin series have this journey where Colin Farrell's Penguin just is climbing up the ranks and people are starting to fear him and they're starting to see that he's a real threat and that they should respect him and they should love him, but they should be afraid of him. Well, if that happens, and then right at the end, he's owned by the Batman, it just puts into perspective who Batman is and his power and his influence and his skill. I just think that would be an awesome way to do it. I don't know if they will, because although Batman isn't at that stage yet, I do think they can do it in a way where that he comes in and he just is a real force that you have to recognize his power and influence in Gotham, Batman's power and influence. But I don't know if they will. He probably will feature in just a short scene as Bruce Wayne. But that's what I was just thinking about. I think that's a really interesting thing to kind of contemplate. And I'm really excited to see what they do with him. I don't think he should be a mainstay. I think he should be a small feature, but a really well thought out, well placed, powerful feature in the Penguin series. Do you agree? Do you think that Batman should be in this at all? Or just Bruce Wayne? Or not at all? Let me know in the comments below because I'd love to hear your theories.